Hi, I'm Laura Esfeller, a kidney cancer advocate with the Kidney Cancer Association, and I'm here with Dr. Brendan Guercio. Dr. Guercio, thanks for being here, and welcome and congratulations on having your poster featured today.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Do you mind sharing with us a little bit about what your poster's about, your research, and how our audience can learn more about what we're talking about today?
Yeah, sure. So this was a project that was actually supported by the KCA, so we're very appreciative for that. And we've known from multiple studies in cancer that the bacteria that live in the gut seem to have an impact on how well people respond to immunotherapy. That's called the gut microbiome. We also know that the bacteria that live in the gut depend on what we eat for their nutrition. They literally eat what we eat. So that's sparked interest in whether or not diet might affect how well immunotherapy works for some people. And we know that dietary fiber, which we eat in vegetables and fruits and things like that, can be metabolized by bacteria into metabolites that have immunomodulatory features like butyrate. And that happens through specific gene pathways in bacteria like the acetyl-CoA pathway. So we wanted to look at whether or not those factors are associated with how people do on immunotherapy. And so we enrolled about 50 patients with advanced renal cell cancer who were starting immunotherapy-based regimens and invited them to complete a comprehensive and validated dietary assessment tool that let us estimate quantitatively their baseline fiber intake. And when we looked at their fiber intake, we specifically looked at 15 grams per day because that's roughly the average amount of fiber that an American eats. And we saw that patients who ate more than 15 grams per day, above the average, as you can see in green, did much better in terms of progression-free survival and also their overall survival. So basically had much better disease control on immunotherapy with that kind of dietary practice. And we did different kinds of models where we adjusted for different kinds of factors, like what type of kidney cancer they had, or how aggressive their cancer was, or what type of specific immunotherapy treatment they had. And across all of those different analyses, the trends seem to be pretty consistent that higher fiber diets correlated with better outcomes. So then we wanted to look at stool samples from patients who are on immunotherapy to see what was actually going on in the gut bacteria. And most studies about the microbiome have looked at specific species or families of bacteria to see which ones are associated with people who do well. But we wanted to do a more functional look at the whole microbiome as a whole, not just individual species. So we specifically looked at the abundance of genes in the acetyl-CoA pathway, which is pictured here, because that pathway is really key to the breakdown of fiber into butyrate by gut bacteria in our gut. And what we found, as you can see by this forest plot, is that of all the different pathways in bacteria that can lead to the formation of butyrate as a metabolite, really only the acetyl-CoA pathway seemed to be associated with better outcomes, suggesting that something was important about that path that led from fiber to butyrate. And when we stratified patients by whether they were above average or below average in terms of their abundance of these genes, we found that patients with more of these acetyl-CoA pathway bacteria did better on immunotherapy. And we wanted to make sure this wasn't just a fluke in our data, so we were really lucky to have some great collaboration from Monty Paul's group at the City of Hope. They let us apply this same data analysis technique to their data set of patients who had been in a trial of probiotics with immunotherapy. And in that trial, we found that patients who were responders to that immunotherapy had, in general, much higher amounts of the bacteria with this good pathway that ferments fiber into butyrate. It's overall supportive of our hypothesis. And so we think that this suggests that there are potential opportunities for diet and microbiome modulation and modification to hopefully help patients do better on immunotherapy. We still have to validate this in prospective clinical trials, but it's hopefully a really exciting signal that we can use to help patients do better in the future.
That's incredible. And so I know that the City of Hope study was particularly on CBM 588. So is the thought process that there's certain probiotics that may be more beneficial than others, or is any probiotic better than none?
I think it's a great question that we definitely do not have all the answers to yet. But interestingly, one of the things that CBM 588 does is it does make that butyrate molecule we talked about, which is one of the reasons we were interested in it. And I think a lot of us are very excited about CBM 588. We think additional studies are needed to confirm that it really works the way we think. And a group called SWOG is going to be doing a really important study about that in the future to prove that CBM 588 is helpful. But there have been other studies, like in other cancer types, suggesting that some probiotics may actually be harmful. And so probably not all probiotics are the same, and we need to do more research to figure out which ones help and maybe which ones don't.
Absolutely. So as a takeaway, what do you feel like is the final takeaway for patients and their providers in clinic from your study?
So I think the final takeaway is that gut bacteria probably matter. We need to do more research to figure out exactly how we can use that to patients' advantage. And diet might matter too. If anything, it seems like what we would generally consider to be a healthy diet, rich in fruits and veggies, might be helpful. So that's what we would probably recommend patients do anyways, just for their general health. So I don't think patients have to necessarily change everything about their lifestyle, but generally diet and healthy diet lifestyle practices are probably a good idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, you are what you eat. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Guercio.
Thank you.